So we're back again, as tradition with a twist. I am Tracy.
I am Nicole, and thank you for anyone who is rejoining us. And if you're new as well, don't forget to like, subscribe, share, and comment with us as well.
Absolutely. So we are again continuing our journey with Detective Lois Tryon in Grotesquerie, episode number 6.
Yes, called Good Caesarean Work. So,
Interesting.
if you've watched our previous episode or a previous episode, you know the main murder that previously happened was babies being
Removed.
ripped out of their mothers. Via C-section or cesarean.
Yeah.
So, this is commenting on the continuation that, hey, that was some good work he actually did. If only he would have stitched him up. But,
Clearly he just wanted the babies. Could care less about mamas. But, that's all right.
Yes.
But so we actually pick up. Last we were in the Grove and we had an older woman crying, holding a baby. Well, now we pick up in hospital where this woman is being held. And the doctor comes out and speaks to Lois and goes, there's no way possible this woman just gave birth. There's no way possible. Medically, the tests don't show any.
She doesn't have any of the hormones, any of things that are present after giving birth, even before birth, none of it.
So Lois is like, okay, all right. So she goes in the room and she's, speaking. She begins to speak to the woman who we learn her name is Maisy. That's who we learn her name as.
That's what she is. She introduces herself as Maisy.
As Maisy. And she's like, I just want my baby. I just want to go home and I just want my baby. And Lois is like, girl, you and I both know you ain't had no baby. Like, how old are you, ma'am? You ain't had no baby. And Maisy goes, oh, yeah? Well, biblically, how about this?
There was Sarah.
How about
Sarah in the Bible? She was 90. She gave birth. Also, in 2005, there was a woman in Spain, 66-year-old woman who gave birth.
So she was like, try again.
I want my baby.
Right. And Maisy is like, girl, whatever.
Lois, you mean?
I want my baby. No, well, Maisy's also, because Lois is like, girl, you ain't had no baby. And Maisy's like, whatever, try again. I want to get up out of here. Give me my kid. But eventually, Lois is really trying to find out information because something has to be happening. Maisy had a baby. Yeah. And Lois says to her, she's like, listen, when we're a short distance away from where we found you, there was a crime that occurred where 3 women had just had their babies stolen from them and they were killed. And he was like, we'll do blood work and it'll be interesting if one of these, if this baby matches. And Maisy's like, try again because it won't match. She's like, it won't match, girl. So think again. But Maisy is having very interesting conversation with Lois where she keeps saying the word glorious. And she actually, in conversation, says it 4 times, and she says it so much that Lois picks up on it. Especially since in episode 5 we learn that one of the people that Lois believes could be after her is a woman by the name of Glorious McCall.
One of her previous cases.
Her previous cases. This person was a pimp and a trafficker.
Yeah.
And so she finds it so very, very interesting that Maisy, keeps saying glorious, and that's the name of this person. So
after getting all these little tidbits and glorious, she's like, you know what? I think it's time to play Glorious a visit.
Well, so she's like, you know what? You want to play these games with you. I hope you know what a 5150 is, because we're going to not let you go and you ain't getting this baby, but we're going to hold you for 72 hours so we can figure out what's going on because you ain't right. And then she's like, I'm going to go figure out who Glorious is, but she also finds out in the interim that this woman's name is not Maisy. Her name is, you have it written down because I didn't write it down.
Her name is Moira. But I don't think we find that out until after we meet Glorious. because once she goes back to the hospital, she gets the information about about hey, like no. So what's actually happening is her name's Moira. She's actually from Greece. You know, her family was trading in babies. She was part of that, and then she kind of got out of that and was helping some other people.
She was involved with a family who was, you know, taking babies, and so it's interesting.
She was fun.
We got a hit from Interpol on her fingerprints. Nothing in this country, but you're not going to believe it.
Try me.
Her real name is Moira Hatzigeorgiou, born in Thessalonica, Greece. She's 67, and when you got Glorious McCall on human trafficking, this sweetheart was part of the family obtaining babies in Cyprus.
Jesus Christ. She was in there going on about Glorious this, Glorious that, and said that someone was trying to get my attention.
Because while they haven't identified the baby, you know, a former baby napper don't look good in this case, right?
Yeah, so there's a connection between Maisy or Moira and Glorious, because when Glorious was busted, it was Maisy's family who was actually obtaining some of the babies. So, quite an interesting connection right off the bat between these two.
Exactly. And so, you know, Lois is advised, like, hey, I guess you better go check out Glorious because she found you somehow.
Yeah.
You better go check her out. So, you know, Lois at this point is like, well, I guess I better do my due diligence and go pay Miss Glorious McCall a visit.
Yes, so we're showing some scenes. We're on the way to Glorious's, and again, we just kind of have like dead, empty cars on the road, like speedboats, I think. Yeah. And then we show up at the trailer park.
Right. Yeah. It's an RV trailer park, and just a lot of empty, discarded items. So clearly not a very lucrative area or anything like that
at all.
And you know, we see Officer Franklin again, because you know our favorite sister, who was the Robin to her Batman, is down, y'all. So she needs somebody else, and I guess Officer Franklin has picked up.
She mentioned in the last episode that I like you see stuff, I could use you.
And so he's there, and he's like, listen, so I've scouted the area. Basically, Glorious is down at XYZ location. I've checked it out. And Lois is like, all right, cool. Our goal is to go get in and out. Let's make it fast, and let's make it
let's make it clean and easy. And I just make sure you watch my back. Just watch my back. Have my back, okay?
Yeah. So they pull on up down the road, and we see Glorious. Now, Glorious is sitting in front of her camper. There's a gentleman with a shaded gentleman sitting to her left. She's sitting down, and there is a sign that says Glorious McCall Ministries. Glorious, upon first glance, looks exactly like what you would think a pimp and a trafficker
pimped
would look like.
She's in a zebra coat. She got the pimp hat.
Yeah, she's doing the thing. Because the first thing I said was, she looked like a pimp, y'all. But Glorious McCall Ministries, and, you know, she recognizes her old friend Lois. They have a moment. And she's like, oh, so my friend Maisy found you? She found you. And Lois was like, wait a second. What? What's going on? I need to find out more information. You over here dropping names. Yeah. You over here. Yeah. And
so it's kind of like, so she's trying to get to the root of the issue, and she's like, all right, yeah. So, you know, all these murders and blah, blah, blah. You know what's happening, right? You're being taunted by a false prophet.
That's right.
Okay? And it's actually looking to use you as their holy lamb. You know, a good woman like you dying, like that would, he says that would jar people.
And really
it would
bring
get them
back
out of their stupor.
Yeah.
And it would have people turn to salvation and look for faith and all of this. So, you know, that's basically what's going on here. That's what's going on. You being taunted.
Listen, Glorious, what do you say we finish conversating at the station? When I'm in a less precarious position. You know, when I'm not so open and exposed. I'm afraid my days of submission are over, dear.
Dispatch, I need backup in an ambulance at our location. Code 4, officer involved shooting.
You are being toyed with.
by a false prophet. He thinks we are on the edge of the end. War, rumors of war, nations rising against nation. He wants to use you as a holy lamb. The death of a good woman will jar the people. Ha! Oh, hallelujah, will jar the people out of their stupor. That's right. It's happening all over. Slaughters of the evil and the good, so people will turn to salvation before the final chapter, okay?
You know this how?
Why do you think I sent Maisy to you?
Well, does Maisy know him?
She was one of his congregants.
You through? All right, keep moving.
And so if it wasn't for Franklin, our poor Lois might have been gone here. But the nature of the dream, Franklin, you know, he had her back.
Yeah.
And so now Lois has a bit of information because, you know, through the discovery and conversation with Glorious, she's like, actually, I sent Maisy to you. I sent her to you because she used to be a congregant. She was a member. She actually worked for the person who was after you. Exactly. And I was actually, just like I helped the girls I was pimping, I was trying to help you too. But, you know, whatever.
Yeah.
You don't recognize your blessing, girl. I don't know. You don't recognize your blessing, and you gonna go ahead and Lois is like, that's fine. I'm gonna recognize this blessing as you get locked up because you know that little thing you had that was ready to sing. It's gonna get you many a years, informant or not. So I guess you better get ready to get caged, Glorious.
Yeah. So since Glorious kind of, you know, let her know about Maisy, she kind of figures out at some point I'm gonna need to go talk to Maisy again.
Yes.
But before that, one of the other main things that happens in this episode is we get some more insight into personal relationships. So Nurse Red, bold Red. She's a very bold Red. Decides that she's going to stop over at Lois's house. But she comes with a peace offering, of course, you know.
Vodka.
Yeah.
Good vodka.
Good vodka.
That's easy on the liver. Easier on the pancreas. Easier on the pancreas.
Yeah. So Lois invites her inside and they pours them each a drink. They start,
conversing.
Yeah.
And Nurse Red is like, you know, you deserve more than my rage.
Yeah. She starts off very, very apologetic. Yeah. Well, the whole thing is like she's almost apologizing to Lois. I'm sorry for, you know, the way I've been treating you and everything I've been doing. I'm, you deserve better than that. But it's kind of also been my grief and anger that have caused me to behave this way.
Yeah. Because kind of what you didn't know
is that I have a pre-existing relationship. I knew him before he was came to the hospital. I was going through some things myself, you know. I'm alone. I have all of this, and I saw a seminar in the paper one day, and I decided to go, and man, did it just lit me up from the inside. And the next time he offered the seminar, I had to go again, and I learned even more at that one.
Yeah, and basically she tells the story that in the end of the second seminar, Marshall and his smooth move self walks up to her and is like, hey, so, you know, you're always the last to leave. And you know what? How about we go for a drink? Him and his drinks, right? I wonder, him and his drinks. And Red takes him up on the offer. For drinks. What? Red takes him up on the offer.
I took it again the following semester, learning more than I had the prior.
It's the burden of creating meaning in an indifferent universe. Live fully and die. You hear me? Hello? This is our final lecture. I have so appreciated you all. Stay in touch if you like. Fan mail is always appreciative. Enjoy the summer. Thank you. Always the last to leave.
I hate ending, Professor. I think, in fact, this seminar is saving me.
If you were drinks, you can tell me why it saved you. Is that a yes?
And I guess from there, you know, they developed a romantic relationship.
Well, because he gives the sob story of, you know, if I'm, you know, seeing your daughter sneak pints of ice cream from the grocery store.
Quarts of ice cream.
Was it quarts?
Yeah, it was
whatever.
a quart, girl. I remember that. Court.
See them sneak, pints, quarts of ice cream from the pharmacy, parking lot, like all of this.
And your wife with cheap vodka.
Yeah,
and your family falling apart and you can't do anything. And he's got these little poisonous tears coming down his face. Yeah. And Red is just like...
It just made me realize,
I realized my reason for existing.
He was my raison d'être.
I was supposed to help him.
Yes.
And I was like, child, you's a fool.
Do you know how hard and how much he grieved what happened to your family?
Nothing compare you to live with a hole in your stomach when you see your child sneaking a quart of ice cream in a drugstore parking lot of your wife with a pint of some cheap vodka. Did I destroy them?
The first time he cried, that broke my heart. All I wanted was to take his pain away. And then I realized that was my meaning. That was why I was here. He was my raison d'être. He had so much guilt.
Why? You bring the woman liquor, you come to the house to tell her you've been cheating with a man, and that's why you've been so mean.
And you even more bold, because not only were you admitting that you were sleeping with her husband before, you're admitting that you knew he was still married.
Come on. But
so
also,
you are just as guilty party.
Of course, but also, hold up. Last time I checked, you knew she was a detective. You do know detectives have firearms, right? What in the what? You wanted to join Marshall. That's it. You had given up your raison d'être, whatever. It was gone. And you wanted to join him because what the what?
Yeah. I don't know what was her purpose for coming outside of just trying to clear some of her guilty conscience, because she does, after she finishes the story, Lois gets up and takes her hands in her and she's like, that must have been really hard. And then Red's like, oh man, like, oh, thanks for understanding. Like, here I was thinking the night was gonna end with you holding a gun to my face. Like,
and Lois is like, oh, poor baby Bendito, you spoke too soon.
And she pulls
out the weapon.
Yes.
And points it at her face. And it's like, I give you four
to get out of my house. You have to the count of four.
And Red is like, oh.
Oops. And if I ever
darken my doorstep, or the girl is on. Like hot buttered popcorn.
Yes.
Okay?
Yes.
And I was just like...
I said I'd quit. We could move back to Britain. I have a beach shack in Dungeness, but he wouldn't leave you to. I lost the only hint of light that I had. That you didn't even value, but to me, it was everything.
Oh, come on now. Come on.
What? Oh.
Yeah, now that must have taken so much courage.
I owe you more than my rage. I suppose I did think that tonight might end with you holding a pistol to my face.
Oh, you poor thing. Oh, you poor thing. You spoke too soon. If I see you around my husband's hospital room one more time, it will be you that's on life support. Now you have to the count of four to get the fuck out of my house. 1, 2.
Foolish Red. The foolish things love makes you do.
Yeah.
Why?
Yeah.
Oh, why? Yeah. You show up? I can't even imagine.
No.
And Lois, I have to say, handled it actually quite well. But again, she hasn't, when you look at it, hindsight, every time Red has come out of pocket, Lois has actually always handled it quite well.
I said that the same.
Yeah, like she's always handled it well, but this gives answers to Nurse Red's first statement of he puts a shiver in my quiver. And I was like, why you act like you know him?
Yeah.
You supposed to have met him unconscious, girl.
Yeah.
No.
Yeah.
She knew him biblically. She knew him. Okay? She knew him and was jealous that Lois had the ability to make decisions on his behalf that could impact her and her hope, her reason for being. Girl, bye.
Yeah, no, that was too much. But Lois, I mean, yeah, she did handle it very well because I mean, normally I don't condone, but I would have woke up that day and chose violence because no.
You know, she basically came to her with that woman to woman conversation. No, keep it.
Woman to woman. I got your woman to woman.
And that's why that conversation usually happens via phone or text, never in person. I can't imagine. You came to my house? You sit at my table? Wrong.
That's why I called her bold. That was bold. That was bold of Nurse Red to do. That was
spicy
bold.
Okay?
Yes.
Neon bold. I don't know.
Yeah. But so after that whole fiasco and you know, Nurse Red does leave within the count of 4.
Yes.
And she's like freaking out. She's like, oh, okay. Like she's freaking out, grabbing all of her stuff, running out. So after we finish there, then we return to Maisy in the hospital and she gives her a little bit more information about
the former person she worked for.
Yes.
You know, because she says, Maisy says, listen, you know, so you've been to Glorious. So you now kind of have a better understanding of what I was doing. And, you know, she sent me to you. So you have a better understanding of kind of what was going on. And Lois is like, I understand that, but so tell me more about this person that is hunting me who you used to work for.
Yeah.
And she is like, evil.
Yeah, and she's like, well, and you know what? I don't know. Like, he may actually be too much for you.
Yeah.
But, you know, he does admire you, you know, and it's...
Yeah, because Lois is like, well, he's trying to kill me. And Maisy's like, no, sweetie. If he wanted you gone, you would be gone.
He admires you. He has bigger things in store for you. What's that? He wants you to be his martyr.
That's it. And I was like, ooh.
Yeah.
Ugh.
Yeah.
Ugh.
So, you know, outside of all of that, Lois is just like, she really just wants to know, okay, where are the babies? Right. Where are these children? Like, that needs to be point number 1. Where are they?
Right. I'll worry about who's after me later. Yes. But if there's a possibility that we can save these innocent lives, then so be it, and let's focus on that.
Yeah.
And so Maisy gave her some information because the next thing we know, we are at a scene
at the J&F Milk Bottling Company,
factory or whatever.
Yeah.
And, you know, it's a bottling center. And so the scene that you are presented with is, instead of cows, you have pregnant women or people who were pregnant, whoever nursing.
You have lactating women.
There you go. I couldn't think
of
it.
You got lactating women hooked up like you would
machine.
A milking cow.
And the machine is connected to these babies in another room, like a bottling, literal bottles.
So literally, it's like the wire, the cord from the
milking women
is connected directly to the
baby bottle that the babies can nurse from and be nourished. And it is just a dark and a disturbing scene because these women are in pain.
And they're shackled. They're on their knees. They're like not in a comfortable position.
It doesn't look, you know, I've heard from lactating women in general that it is not comfortable by any means. Mm-hmm. So to be hooked up to a machine that's meant for cow milking
and is constantly
going, I cannot fathom it. And Lois, you know, she comes in, she sees the scene, basically, thank God the women are saved.
Yeah.
The babies are fine. Yeah. And then Lois begins investigating this place and she comes across a back room.
Mm-hmm. And in this room, pull a curtain back and what do we see? There's just a wall full of pictures of Lois.
Yeah.
Recent pictures.
Upon image of Lois. The same way you would imagine a crime scene investigator to have images of the crime. Well, that's how we see images of Lois. And she's realizing that everywhere she's been, this person has also been.
Yes.
And she's just taking it all in. And so as she's taking it all in...
kind of it's a lot of pictures.
It's a lot.
It's
also
like the
black sludge. There's like a vat of the black sludge that was previously identified as brimstone. There's so many things that help you identify this as like Grotesquerie's lair. Yeah. Right? Yeah. And so Lois is really just watching and looking, and next thing you know,
somebody's watching me.
There you go, cause
that's
next thing you know, up behind her, almost phantasm-like. It appears, Grotesquerie in all black with a blade at her throat. Lois turns and fires and hits him. I'm gonna say him because as the person falls, fully in all black, and she lifts the mask.
So it's interesting because it has
so many cuts and
it's
chops
very, very many
in
cuts,
between.
and it's kind of almost like evoking this semi sense of security, but also just like giving you a little glimpse into everybody, because so as she's sitting there looking at these pictures, it like moves into slow-mo. You got the guy with the knife at her neck. Then we cut to Sister Megan. Then we also cut to Merritt and Eddie, and just sitting on a bed. Right, just sitting on a bed, having a good old time, like chatting it up. Then
Red in the bed with Marshall, laying next to Marshall in the bed. You know what I mean? And so, like, it's before it totally ends, it gives you a brief kind of recap as to what everybody's doing at the time. This is happening for Lois.
And Sister Megan's eyes actually open. Like, we get a glimpse of her eyes opening in the hospital bed. Then we're back to Lois, and she's like, I don't know, she did some Krav Maga move to get out of the...
How? He was directly behind her, blade to the throat. She did a spin and had the ability to fire. When it wasn't in her hand, like, super Lois, Batman for real. But she did, and she hits the person, and they fall back. She's able to walk up to the person. I ain't gonna lie to you. In my mind, I was like, if this is a horror movie, and if I'm expecting my Freddy Krueger to come out, shouldn't you make sure the person, every movie says make sure they really gone before you approach gently. I'd maybe bust a few more just to make sure now. But anyway, it was fine.
Maybe I might have hit like a kneecap or something. I'm not gonna hit anywhere else vital.
Listen, it doesn't have to be. It doesn't have to be video game graphic.
It's gonna make sure you're maimed enough that you can't move.
That's it. But anyway, so she walks up and she lifts kind of like the mask, and you can see the chin line, and you can see a little bit of the flesh, and so it does give the impression that it's a man, and that's how it ends.
Yeah, it was just her looking down like,
damn. So now at this point, I'm like, oh, wow. Okay, so we about to find out. Oh, my gosh. Yay, us.
Yeah.
But we have to wait, as do you guys, to join us for episode 7.
Yep. Until next time.
This
episode was quite a ride.
It was.
So much information unveiled and revealed, and it's almost like, okay, are we at the culmination?
Right.
What's going to happen now? Happening? Because if this is the killer,
hey, how do we go?
Where do we go from here?
There are 3 episodes left. Like, oh, are we really going to do this? Is this going to be great? Oh my gosh, what's happening? So, yeah.
So let us know your thoughts and comments as well on this.
Yeah.
And as you know, here at Tradition with a Twist, we
do our twist.
Twisty
we must
time
end with the twist. So, I'm gonna say, I don't know. I feel numbers again. Yeah, okay. I feel numbers again. I feel it.
Okay. So we asked for a number to give the collective that would help them or give them a message of what they need to know or hear today.
Yes.
Ooh, okay. Which one are you looking at?
Okay. I was looking at that one, but go ahead. No.
Okay. No, I like this one. Okay, so we have angel number 513. Give attention. Use your words carefully. Tempers and passions are flaring around you, but you are being called to take the higher road. Using wisdom with your words and all interactions around you is the challenge your angels ask you to pursue. Repeat this mantra: my spirit is tranquil. Remember to count to 10 before responding to any emotional communication around you. Words have power.
Yes. And my spirit is tranquil.
Yes.
All right, guys. Well, we thank you so much for joining us. Again, please don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. My name is Tracy.
My name's Nicole.
And we'll see you again soon.
Thanks, everyone.
Bye.